we are gathered here today to remember the WWE, which passed away on Monday, November 26th, in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. We hope to celebrate its life along with everything else that happened this week, here on Weekly Wrestling Cast.
Hello.
Hello.
I am Nick the Iceman.
And I am Danny Marvelous.
And we're here for another episode of Weekly Wrestling Cast.
Yes, indeed, and it's a somber one. Let's start with some news. Anyway, NXT TakeOver Blackpool has been announced for NXT UK brand, so I'm looking forward to that. And we also have the updated NXT UK contracts, which I'm not excited about.
Oh, yeah?
So normally, and I guess we probably should have seen it coming, but WWE updated their contract with a bunch of their NXT UK superstars, basically bars them from participating in non-WWE affiliated promotions.
Oh, yeah, I did see that, actually.
Yeah, and so it kind of sucks because I think that people, I don't know, I think that they should have been able to do that. I think that it helps them build the brand, if anything, but, you know.
Yeah, and like they were talking about, it helps bring in fans, too.
Exactly. So yeah, but that's all the news we have for today. So now we have to get on to the moment. Raw.
Rest in peace, Raw. So, all joking aside, Raw was terrible this week.
Whoa. So bad. Like, wow. Like, wow, that was bad.
Yeah.
And actually, like, there's parts that, like, I'm like, I don't hate this, but
as a whole,
I was like, this was a really bad 3 hours.
To the point that, I guess this technically could have fallen under news, but to the point that Milwaukee actually edited their Wikipedia page.
Yeah, somebody edited the Wikipedia page for Milwaukee stating that it was the place where wrestling died in 2018.
So I guess we should just jump into it.
Yeah.
It starts with Baron Corbin, Drew McIntyre, and Bobby Lashley out in the middle of the ring.
Yeah. Screw Thanksgiving, I guess.
Yeah.
I was like, this is weird. Like, why are you riffing on carbs?
Yeah, right. They called everybody fat for indulging in all of the carbs, and we have perfect bodies.
Yeah. Also, Bobby Lashley is a giant man. You don't think Bobby Lashley eats carbs.
Right.
Like, that dude gets as much into his body as he can because he works out 24/7.
So they said that Braun won't be back for a few weeks. And then after that, Corbin said he probably won't be cleared for TLC. But the match is still going to go on, which basically means I'm the new commissioner permanently. Mm-hmm. So you better pick a side. It kind of does some like Civil War stirring.
Yeah, my way or the highway kind of deal. So.
And then Bobby Lashley gets a little song sung to him.
By Elias. Lights go out and Elias comes out.
I love this. I love face Elias so much.
He's so good. The one thing I hate about this. Bobby Trashley.
What? You hated that?
Of course I did. Did you not?
I thought it was great.
Oh my god, you're horrible.
Listen, if we can have Monday Night Rollins, we can have Bobby Trashley.
Monday Night Rollins at least has his name is Rollins, and that kind of is Rollins. I can see that.
Lashley, Trashley, it's close.
It's not like Monday Night Braun.
I don't want to talk about it. Yeah. So, anyways, that leads into Elias versus Bobby Lashley.
It starts out okay. Like, when the match is going at first, I'm like, okay, I'm down for this. Like, it was good. I was enjoying it, and then
you know,
Elias gets
chair.
Yeah, and so then
we get a repeat of what happened with Braun Strowman.
Yeah, exactly. Corbin's just like, oh, this is a new DQ match. Sorry, Elias interrupted me. I'm like, come on.
So then, obviously, Bobby Lashley ends up winning that one because he has help from the Goon Squad. Mm-hmm. And then after that, they have a promo where Baron Corbin is basically like, listen, I'm too busy to actually do my job. So Alexa Bliss, you can just have the women's division.
Yeah, exactly. I was like, What?
Just gives it to her.
Yeah.
Like, you're in control. You got it, kid.
So here's the thing about this. I like that Alexa Bliss is still on TV because clearly she's still nursing that injury. I like that she's an authority figure now because I think she fits that role very well. But we have a lot of heel authority figures. Like, constantly.
Well, and we had the one diamond in the rough, and then they were like, by the way, we're going to make Shane McMahon a heel.
Yeah, exactly. And so it's just like, come on.
Like, don't get me wrong. And I think you kind of feel the same way. Heel authority figures are cool.
And I think they work really well.
And they're even better when there's also a face authority figure.
Mm-hmm.
Like, for instance, when they had Stephanie McMahon and Kurt Angle.
Yeah.
It was a really cool dynamic, and there was a lot of potential there because you had the heel who was technically giving the face orders, but the face was like, nah.
Yeah, and even the Constable Corbin stuff when it started, I really enjoyed because, it was a very clear conflict between Kurt Angle and Baron Corbin. One's the face manager, one's the heel manager, and stuff like that. I really liked that. It wasn't perfect, but at least I was down for it.
I do think there's some potential for this to be kind of like a Revolution style, like rebel against the higher powers arc,
which would be cool, but there's just they're not really pushing any big baby faces right now.
Yeah, like the baby faces that I feel like would be in the center of it all just get beaten down.
Yeah, exactly.
Maybe,
and of course, the only one that is really stands a chance is Braun Strowman at this point, and he's injured right now.
Maybe they keep building this for a little bit, and then they have like the three people who are like center in this feud as faces, have them rise up. Or I think it would be cool to have a big like almost Civil War style clash, where you've got like a 5v5 tag team match. And it's just the faces versus the heels, and they just squash it out.
Yeah. Also, so on commentary after this happened, though, they're like, Renee and Michael Cole are complaining because how can you have someone who's part of the active roster in charge of the roster? And I'm like, that's what Baron Corbin does every freaking week, and you guys don't say anything about this.
You're not wrong.
Yeah. I mean, come on.
Yeah. So after that, we get this really weird promo.
So weird.
Which at first it wasn't that bad.
I was like, oh, okay.
It was a little out of place.
It was weird.
It kind of goes along with the whole storyline they've been trying to do, where Dean Ambrose's heel angle is like, oh, I don't like you disgusting people. You guys are gross. I need vaccinations so you guys don't get me sick because you're disgusting garbage people. And it's like, okay, whatever. I get it. It's a weird angle to push. I feel like
sometimes I like weird stuff like this.
I feel like just having him be a dick would be fine.
Mm-hmm.
Like, they don't have to give him this weird reason to be a heel.
Yeah.
But I feel like they're doing that because they didn't anticipate
I get what
the Roman Reigns thing.
Yeah.
Which is fine because they would have to do a whole bunch of writing if they wanted to change the angle. But literally just what happened with Roman Reigns and the night of the tag team match was enough to make people hate him. You didn't have to give them more of a reason.
Exactly.
But anyway, so he's doing this weird promo or whatever. And it's fine for about the first half. And then he gets a shot in the butt.
Yeah, and I was like...
and, he's doing it while he's trying to cut this promo. He, pulls his pants down. And
I'm like, what the heck is this?
It's like, Dean Ambrose, you got the shit kicked out of you by Braun Strowman. You're cringing at shots? Come on, man. Also, we don't need to see you getting shots in your ass. Come on.
I mean, exactly. It's so bad. This is bad. Ugh. Then we had a rematch,
which pissed me off.
I was so mad. Oh my god, this is the stupidest thing.
It started out awesome. The Revival came out and cut a really good promo.
They're like, hey, that wasn't fair what happened last week.
It was a handicap match. That's not cool.
Yeah.
We respect your lucha tradition or whatever the hell you want to do.
Yeah.
You need to respect the tag team tradition.
Yeah.
And if you don't want to respect that, you can get the heck out.
Yeah.
That being said, we called this rematch so we can have an actual tag team and figure out who's the greatest. Immediately after he finishes, Lucha House Rules match. It's like,
I was so pissed. So
it's like, are you serious?
So ridiculous. This is so the Lucha House Party. She in the matches basically. They are getting praised, but they're the baby faces.
They're basically heels at this point.
It's like, yeah, but they're the baby faces. The baby faces are cheating to win.
Well, like, that's the thing, is like, as they were coming out, I was like, is this the Revival making a heel turn?
Yeah, exactly.
Because that's kind of the way they made it seem. But
you mean the Lucha House Party?
No, like the Revival, like when they came out and they were pissed and they were all like, "Rah!"
Yeah.
I was like, are they gonna make them like the bad guys in this? And then they were straight edge the entire match, and Lucha House Party was just cheating left and right.
Yeah, it was
like, and the announcers were like flagrantly ignoring all of their cheats. Like they didn't even like.
Yeah. Also, how about the? Oh my God, this was stupid. So literally, during this match, Corey Graves says that he talked to Corbin, and Corbin was like, "Yeah, I had no idea that was happening. I didn't approve that. Who is approving this?" Corbin runs the show.
Yeah.
How is he? What? I have to laugh because there's no other. I can't respond to it any other way.
It's so dumb. So,
so
anyways, the
stupid.
Lucha House Party wins because they cheat, and there's 3 of them.
Yeah.
And several times commentary's even like, this isn't a Lucha House Rules match. It's just a 3v2 handicap. That's just what it is.
And that's exactly what it is. This was dumb.
So
they did it once last week, and I got it because it's like, hey, we want to show off all 3 of them.
Oh yeah, once is fine.
Once, like, it's lame, but I can at least deal with it.
I could see them doing it once to just kind of like
introduce
them.
And that's what it was.
And then I could see what they should have done is had the Revival cut their promo and then be like, if you want to fight with 3, we'll fight with 3. And then a third person comes out, they do a 3v3.
Yeah, it was
like that would have been neat.
Yeah, dope. Like that would have been fine.
And off the top of my head, like I can't really think of anyone that quick.
Yeah.
But I feel like there are a lot of people that their styles would mesh very well with Revival.
Oh, sure. There's plenty of people. They're classic wrestlers. Yeah. Like, plenty of people would...
But they've fudged it up because they're bad,
stupid.
And this is the worst episode of Raw ever.
There's some pretty bad ones out there, but this one's definitely one of the worst.
So next we have the Nia Jax promo, and there's a lot to unpack here.
Yeah, okay, so... Yeah... Let's just go ahead and get started.
Can we be done with the preppy bitch heel, please?
Like, I don't even mind it when it's done well, but guess what? Nia Jax don't do it well.
Well, like, I get it. There's certain, like, if you're going to make a heel in the WWE, there's a checklist you have to go down.
Uh-huh.
And, yeah, a lot of things will overlap. Like, if you look at Dolph Ziggler and The Miz, there's a lot of similarities.
There's a lot of cockiness, whereas The Miz is more like... But there's differences.
Yeah, exactly.
The Miz is cocky because he's like, oh, I'm an A-lister. I'm better than you because my status is higher. Whereas Dolph Ziggler's just like, I can beat anybody, so...
But yeah.
I'm the best in the world.
With the women's division, this is a problem I feel like they've had for a while, where a lot of their heels are just the same carbon copy.
Yeah, so... The big point that this was happening was, May? No, June. Yeah, it was happening in June because at that time we had both Alexa Bliss and Carmella as our women's champions at that time.
And literally, if you would have showed me a promo from one of them from that time, I would not be able to tell you who said it.
Yeah, exactly. And that's not a good thing. Granted, I think both of those... I really like both of those wrestlers. I think they're both very good.
And I like where they're at now a lot more than I did 6 months ago.
Oh, yeah. And I'm a big fan of Carmella, big fan of Alexa Bliss. But at that point, their characters were basically the same.
Which feels to me like what Nia Jax is now. Ever since she did this heel turn thing with Tamina, you can physically tell that she is talking different.
Yeah.
She has the Valley Girl accent.
A little bit, yeah.
She's kind of throwing her hips around when she talks.
Mm-hmm. Strutting her stuff, yeah.
And it's just... She could... If they gave her the style of heel that, like, Becky Lynch is, it would be so good. Or, like, have her be, like, even have her be like a Brock Lesnar. Like, throw a mouthpiece on her and have her just come out there and stand there.
They definitely need a mouthpiece with somebody in this feud.
And then when someone talks shit, she just knocks them out because they're...
#facebreaker.
Yeah, literally, they could have just done that and it would have been cool.
Yeah.
But she's coming out talking a whole bunch of, like, high school drama
and
trash.
And they gave her, like, a long time, too. And
I have, like, 7... check marks next to this promo of stuff to talk about.
I have a lot to talk about with this too. Yeah,
they gave her so much time. She's talking about be thankful for me. I'm thankful for me and my fist.
Yeah. Is this the fastest any wrestler has ever lost heat?
I think so.
Because let's be honest, like last week or even what was it, Survivor Series? Nia Jax got booed to high heaven.
And now no one gives a shit.
And literally it happened a little bit, but then she started a promo and everyone stopped caring.
Yeah. So then Ronda Rousey comes out about halfway through this. And she does another one of her weird promos because I don't know if she's writing her own promos or if they just don't know how to write a promo for her. But all of her promos are they feel so weird and disingenuous.
Yeah.
Disingenuine.
So, if the background rumors are to be believed, that she has a decent amount of say in what her promos are going on and stuff like that, but she's also working with people like, Paul Heyman and stuff like that. But, honestly, I praised one of her promos recently, but since then, most of her
promos I don't have a problem with, but there's like 3 sentences like right in the middle where it's just some weird shit.
Yeah.
Or like you'll be watching a promo, like, okay, yeah, this is good.
Yeah.
This is good, and then she's like, I woke up every morning with my mom trying to break my arm, and it's like, what are you talking about?
Seriously. Also, during this promo, after Ronda comes out, there's a point. So. I'm heated about this actually. So she breaks kayfabe at one point because some fans are cheering for her. So she legitimately takes a second to smile at them and be like, "Thank you for your support." And I'm like, "What are you doing? You're in the middle of the person that just like you're gonna be fighting against. Come on, give us some heat." Like, I really.
So then like some shit comes up about a dinner date.
Let's not even.
And Nia, I have this written down because I think it's funny. I don't remember exactly what she says, but basically, they're like, Nia Jax is just like, what? No.
Yeah.
No.
What? No.
What? And it just made me laugh. It was just like lazy, I felt like.
Yeah.
So then,
eventually,
because the promo was just going downhill fast,
oh, God,
Natalya and the Riot Squad show up.
Yeah.
Which I think it might be the first time ever that I've been like, thank God, Natalya interrupted a promo.
Yeah. That's. I just clicked at what you just said. I was like, holy, that's funny as hell.
Like, nothing against Natalya, but I've never really cared for her on the mic.
Fair. But yeah, never been more excited for a Natalya interrupt.
And so then the Riot Squad shows up. They all start beating on each other.
Ronda chases them away because she's Ronda Rousey,
who apparently everyone is scared of, but she's terrified of Nia Jax for some reason.
This was dumb.
And then we don't even get a match. Like the way they were going, I was like, oh. We'll just get a Natasha Ruby Riott match again. But no. Instead, we get an AOP Glorious Ones title match. Which, for those of you who don't know, I call Bobby Roode and Chad Gable the Glorious Ones because I think it's a good name.
It's better than what they're doing. So, I don't know. For me personally, I dislike when tag teams don't have team names.
Well, and here's the thing. So. If it were just like 2 people doing their thing, whatever. But they officially said that when these 2 got together, they were forming a tag team.
Yeah, exactly.
So, like, for the foreseeable future, these 2 will be a tag team.
Yeah, exactly. And I don't know. Like, granted, I understand not, like, just giving somebody a name right off the bat, having them build the team and then giving them a name. But, like, there's a lot of teams.
Like, don't get me wrong. I don't like the Boss and Hug connection, but it's easier to say in conversation than like, yeah, Sasha and Bailey.
Yeah, exactly. Heath Slater and Rhino do the same thing, and I freaking hate it. But it's not like they're on TV to actually do it. So
this match is a... You know what? I've been holding my tongue for the most part because I don't like to go off, especially on this.
Go off.
This match was a fucking train wreck.
Do it. Yeah, horrible.
Oh my god.
Horrible.
So here's the thing. They have built AOP horribly.
Absolutely garbage.
The way they started building them is how they should have kept building them. Where they are just these two huge dudes that don't give a shit
and they just
about the rest of the division, and they just beat up who they want when they want.
Yeah, that's what they did in NXT, and it was awesome. And
it works. Yeah. Like, look at the Bludgeon Brothers. That's what they did, and they were champions for God knows how long.
A really long time.
And defended their title repeatedly because they just beat the shit out of people.
Yeah, exactly. And guess what? I enjoyed that more, and we complained because they didn't have any really storylines going on, but they just had them.
It's fucking better than this.
It's better than this.
It's better than...
It's certainly better than this.
This stupid... So Drake Maverick takes Bobby Roode's
So,
robe.
First off, the match is fine.
The match is okay, starting off.
Yeah, it's fine, but there's only one focus on this match, so let's get into this.
And so Drake Maverick takes Bobby Roode's robe backstage and pees on it. I'm not going to describe it anymore because it doesn't need to. That's what happens.
That's what happens, yeah.
And it distracts Bobby Roode, which gives AOP the win. Which they shouldn't need in the first place because these two guys could probably break them in half.
Exactly.
They're the champion. They're defending.
Yeah.
They're even defending. It's not like they had tried to like attain the championship from Bobby Roode and Chad Gable and lost several times. No. No. They've beat these two before and they are defending the title. They don't need to cheat to win.
They really don't.
They could just dumpster on most of the tag team division.
Especially Raw's tag team division.
Like, I get that it's scripted, and there's certain things that kind of bend on kayfabe a little, where it's like, oh, I don't know if that would actually be what happened, but it's close enough.
Yeah, exactly.
If these four actually got in a street fight, Bobby Roode and Chad Gable would get destroyed.
Oh, yeah. AOP would... They're two giants.
Like, they did a good job with that shit with Braun Strowman because it took 3 of them to, like, put him on a commission, which is realistic. That guy's huge.
Yeah, exactly.
And then these two guys who are almost the same size have to cheat to beat people half their weight?
It's absolutely ridiculous. Oh, it's so stupid.
God!
So, just in case any of you were actually looking forward to an AOP title reign, I guess you can flush that down the toilet.
Really?
Yeah! You know it!
Really?
Whatever, it was hilarious.
AOPP.
It's certainly funnier than what happened on this episode.
AOPP.
Alright,
that is a thing that thousands of people chanted.
Yep.
AOPP.
Yep.
They even bring up the piss joke on 205 Live, and I am so pissed. These fucking puns. Okay, I'll try to compose myself for the rest of this episode.
Man.
Oh, that...
So stupid.
I was so upset. I about said I'm so pissed, and I changed my freaking wording to try to get away from this stupid pun that never should have happened. And
he's still heated. He's still going.
So anyways, next we have Ember Moon versus Alicia Fox in another train wreck.
Yeah, so first off, let's just get onto this. The Ember Moon comes out with Kurt Hawkins.
Just to throw this out here, I'm pretty sure every match on Raw this week was the worst match of the week.
I mean...
Like, the worst match of the week might just be Raw, if we're being honest.
I mean, that's a good one. Yeah, so she comes out with Kurt Hawkins. They announce they announced that he will be joining Ember Moon in the Mixed Match Challenge in Braun Strowman's stead.
Poor Ember Moon. Think about this. She came in to replace Alexa Bliss, and she's like, oh man, I'm with Braun Strowman. Yeah. We're going to do pretty good. And then they're like, by the way, there's actually stakes now. And she's like, oh shit, we might be able to win. By the way, Braun Strowman's out. You have Kurt fucking Hawkins.
Yeah.
And then I could visibly see her discomfort when Kurt
seriously.
Hawkins came out. It was just like,
Ugh.
oh, Ember, I'm sorry.
Yeah. And she fought Alicia Fox. And, I mean, it's an unremarkable
Destroyed her because she should.
Yeah, it was completely... But yeah, then, as they're leaving...
I wanted to talk about this.
Okay, go ahead.
Literally, we get Ember Moon's intro, then a Finn Balor promo, then Alicia Fox's intro. The match was so unimportant that they were like, yeah, whatever, we'll throw a promo in the middle of the intros.
Exactly.
We don't care, whatever. Finn Balor's got to get dumpstered on in 20 minutes anyways. It'll be fine.
Yeah, and so anyway, then, Ember wins and Kurt Hawkins goes freaking nuts like he just won.
He like picked her up, like you could see she was like, bro, don't touch me.
Whoa, calm down.
And then it's time for his match.
Yeah.
Except he doesn't wrestle because he's Kurt fucking Hawkins.
Yeah. So all of a sudden out comes No Way Jose. Right? That's what happens next, right?
Yeah. No Way Jose.
Yeah, No Way Jose comes out. And Kurt Hawkins and Ember Moon proceed to do the conga line with them. But Renee Young literally says at this point, Ember Moon hates dancing. While Ember Moon is dancing with a big old smile on her face. I was like, what are you doing?
I also wanted No Way Jose to win this match so bad. To say that, just so I could say that No Way Jose has won more matches in the last 3 months than Jinder Mahal.
So yeah, he fights Jinder Mahal, and what the...
It's a weird match.
It's so weird. So like, Mahal dominates this, and he pins No Way Jose. And I'm like, this doesn't make Jinder look good.
If you just wanted Jinder to dunk someone, just
give him a jobber, yeah. Do it to Kurt Hawkins.
Yeah, just have him fight Kurt Hawkins.
Yeah.
The reason I was like, oh, they probably did No Way Jose, so they could kind of make it like a barn burner type match where like, ooh, who's gonna win?
Yeah.
But no, it was just a squash match, and if you wanted to squash somebody, have it be Kurt Hawkins.
The guy that gets squashed.
Yeah, because A, he's gonna lose.
Yeah.
B, if you wanted, like, obviously the first half of this whole shit show was them hyping the Mixed Match Challenge.
Yeah.
Have him fight the Mixed Match Challenge partner.
Exactly. It's ridiculous. And so we've spent, the last 2 months burying Jinder Mahal? Just completely shitting on this dude.
Well, I'll be honest. This was basically two jobbers in the ring. At this point.
Exactly. But, Jinder Mahal used to be something.
He was the world champion.
He was the WWE champion. He was the United States champion earlier this year. But since then, he's been, buried.
Yeah.
But...
He's been buried so deep, he's almost in China at this point.
So, yeah. But so he's just been dumped on for weeks on end. And then they bring in No Way Jose, and he loses immediately to Jinder Mahal, which goes completely contrary to everything we've been told about Jinder Mahal this year. Instead of making Jinder Mahal look good in this match, it doesn't make him look good because we have all that history. Well, it makes No Way Jose look incompetent.
Yeah. And like I said, they buried Jinder Mahal so far. He's basically on the other side of the planet.
Yeah, exactly.
And, this also was an old Jinder Mahal match.
Oh, yeah.
This was old Mahal. He wasn't like Shanti or anything. He was pissed off and throwing him.
Yeah, exactly. And
so they completely ditched the character now?
Well, see, they continue it on Mixed Match Challenge with the Shanti's thing. So it's like, I don't know, man.
So after that, we do have a small silver lining. This is probably the best match on the episode.
Yeah. There's a caveat, but this is the highlight.
So Seth Rollins comes out and he's like, Dean Ambrose ain't here. I'm going to do an open challenge because I'm tired of dealing with Dean Ambrose's crap and I'm going to be a fighting champion again. Mm-hmm. And I was actually kind of excited. I was like, oh man, who's it going to be? And I was like, of course it's Dolph Ziggler.
Yeah, so here's the thing.
and at first I was like, really? This again? And then Dolph Ziggler cut his little promo, and I got it. I get why the match is happening.
Exactly. It makes sense in kayfabe, at least. Mm-hmm. I like that. And guess what? This match is good.
Because, as we've said, almost every episode that there's a fight between these two, they can put on a show.
Yeah. Here's the issue. I've seen it 12 times.
I mean, fair.
Also, they spent all week hyping this on social media. Seth Rollins, open challenge. Seth Rollins, open challenge. Who's he gonna fight? Who's he gonna fight? And it's just Dolph Ziggler again.
I would have lost my shit.
I am a big Dolph Ziggler fan. I love Dolph Ziggler. I don't need this again. I don't need it anymore.
I hope. Oh, excuse me. Sorry. I hope this is a one and done, and like they don't start the feud again.
Oh, that I would,
because I don't need that feud a second time.
I think it's sufficiently buried. Hopefully, but something I did notice in this match though, Seth Rollins wins, of course, with the superplex
and Falcon
Arrow combo.
I saw that. I was like,
he never wins with that.
He set it up, and I was like, oh, he's just gonna kick out. He didn't kick out.
No, he didn't kick out. That's how you do wrestling matches.
For the first time this year?
Probably.
Question mark?
Probably.
He actually won with the Superplex Falcon Arrow?
Yeah. So that's the thing, is that like, I mean, don't get me wrong, the Superplex Falcon Arrow is impressive and
yeah, it's really cool.
It's a cool move.
But it's become
everybody kicks out of it. Everybody.
Yeah, it's become a meme at this point where like, oh, he's doing the Superplex Falcon Arrow. He's not gonna pin him here.
Yeah, no, it won't be a pin. But then he did.
Which I did like because, like we had talked about, I think 2 or 3 weeks ago at this point, they need to change up how matches work. So it's not just like, oh, he had his finisher. Is he going to win? Nope. Okay.
Yeah.
Like, this was cool because it literally took me off guard. It's like, oh, he won.
Yeah.
As opposed to, oh, he hit his finisher. Let's see if he kicks out. Nope. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Like, I would be so happy if, like, Rey Mysterio hit a drop kick off the top turnbuckle and then pinned a guy.
Yeah.
That would be like, whoa!
Exactly. And it makes your own moves more dangerous rather than everybody just waits for the finisher. Oh, is he gonna...
If any move could be a finishing move, it makes the match more exciting.
Exactly. And they should do that all the time.
But anyways, after that, we get this really weird and not at all scripted Sasha Bailey open forum question and answer with Alexa Bliss and polling the crowd and
it was weird.
So they come out because Alexa Bliss is like, you can ask people, the people can ask you anything. And in the back of my head I was like, the first question's gotta be, are you guys lesbians? It's gotta be. And so they go out, they sit in the middle of the ring. And for some reason, they're, like, giving Sasha her attitude back. Like,
which they should, but...
like, it felt like it came out of nowhere.
Yeah, it definitely feels like it comes out of nowhere.
So, they're out there sitting in the middle of the ring, and she's polling the crowd, and Alexa Bliss is obviously just like, oh, no, I know what your question is. I know I look better in person.
Yeah. I actually like...
I mean, it's classic Alexa. It's classic Alexa Bliss. So then she's looking and... totally doesn't see an actress.
Yeah, it totally was.
In a bright white shirt, so she stands out in the crowd.
Yeah.
And she gets picked and asks a pretty good question. So what would you do to change the women's division? Which is a solid question.
Solid question.
And Bailey's like, oh, I wouldn't do anything to change it. I just do things to improve it because, you know, the women's division is moving forward.
Amazing.
And, and then we get Miss Tood on the mic who's like, I have one thing I would change. I'd ship Alexa Bliss's ass back to SmackDown.
Yeah.
And everybody's like, ooh. And then Alexa Bliss... And then Alexa Bliss directly asks Sasha a question. And then when she answers, she goes, wait, don't you let Bailey ever talk? It's like, you asked the question to Sasha Banks.
Like, what the,
And even Bailey is like, well, you asked her the question, but yeah, I'll answer.
Yeah. And so, but this is great. Then Bailey says, no, we shouldn't ship Alexa back to SmackDown. We should send her back to hell.
Where she came from. And then there's a mic drop, double high five Sasha Banks. And it's just like... So remember earlier how I was talking about Nia Jax was doing like high school drama bullshit promo? This just like continues with the high school drama
but this one is actually funny.
I mean, yeah. I did laugh, but it was just like, really? That's
yeah.
I liked it because it kind of kept with like the innocence of Bailey. Like that's the worst thing she can say about somebody.
Yeah. I would say though that the one thing I had an issue with this. So lots of fans follow these guys on social media now, and so literally all week, Sasha and Bailey have been really hyping the women's tag team titles. That's all they hype that on social media like all the time.
Like I'm pretty sure Sasha Banks at one point says when the titles become a thing, we'll have them.
Exactly. And so when you're asked how would you change the women's division, how do you not say add tag team titles?
Right.
I mean, I know it's scripted. I know WWE did. I know they
had to get the "Go Back to Hell Where You Belong" line.
Yeah.
So then they get jumped by the Goon Squad.
The Goon Squad.
And this time, the Goon Squad of Alexa Bliss, which is ever shifting, is Dana Brooke, Alicia Fox, and Mickie James.
Which, out of nowhere, Dana Brooke is with these
guys?
I
don't know why Dana Brooke is there.
So some people had a big issue with that because WWE, they promoted this thing called Starrcade. On the WWE network,
which was that really weird, not a pay-per-view.
Yeah, it was literally a house show. I mean, quite literally. But it was a house show in the style of the old Starrcade pay-per-view and stuff like that. It's pretty cool. It's outside of, but it's technically outside of continuity. But they advertised it, so a lot of people watched it. In that Starrcade, Sasha Banks and Bailey team up with Dana Brooke.
Weird.
Yeah, and so people were like, wait, why is Dana Brooke fighting them now? So weird.
But, so anyways, the two of them dispatch the Goon Squad because they're competent.
Yeah.
And of course, at this point, Alexa Bliss is already halfway up the runway, and she's like talking smack from the runway, but she don't have a mic, so we can't hear her. Yep. And then there's no match. I was like, wait, there's not gonna be a match here? And they're just gonna cut to black. Yep. And then they come back, and this is the aforementioned Finn Balor getting dumpstered on that I mentioned earlier. It's Finn Balor versus Baron Corbin, which
was predicated with that Finn Balor promo we talked about, where he says, I think Corbin's going to try to pull a fast one, but I'll be ready.
He wasn't ready.
He looks... Yeah, let's get to it, because the match is fine. At first.
Yeah, just like the fine. Elias one, the first half is pretty good.
Even though I've seen Finn Balor versus Baron Corbin 100 times too.
So then Baron Corbin starts getting taken down.
Yeah, he starts losing.
Starts losing pretty bad. And then, of course, he does the thing that he's done, I think 6 times now?
Yeah.
Where he grabs the mic, except... he doesn't make it a no DQ anymore. He's like, it's a 2v1 handicap. Drew, get your ass down here.
Yeah.
And then Drew McIntyre comes hoofing it down the runway.
Yeah. And so Finn literally made that promo where he's like, I'm going to be ready for whatever. And then he has the most shocked look on his face.
What I would have thought would have been cool is if he would have been like, all right, Drew, come down the runway. And then, he gets about halfway, and, some other superstar that Finn Balor's teamed up with, hops out of the crowd and just, beats the shit out of Drew McIntyre on the runway. And then Finn Balor's like, see? I came prepared.
Yeah. Also, was there a tag?
No.
Because Drew McIntyre comes out and then just starts just destroying him, and he gets the pin. I'm like, he's not the legal man.
Yeah, I know.
Corbin is still the...
And by 2v1, he means 2v1 no disqualification match.
It's pretty tornado, yeah, whatever. So freaking dumb.
And then we just get a repeat of what happened at the beginning of the show, except it's Finn Balor instead of Elias. Bobby Lashley comes out, they all beat the hell out of him.
Yeah. And so, yeah, Raw ends there.
It bookends with 2 shitty matches that shouldn't be.
By the way, somebody did the math. 1 hour of this episode of Raw was devoted to Baron Corbin. A whole hour.
So dumb.
And I'm not even a Baron Corbin hater. I think he's fine, but that's too much.
All right, so now that we're done with that, we can
talk about a good show.
We can wash our hands of the shit show of the week and actually start talking about quality content. Yeah. Take us away, Danny Marvelous.
All right. We are on SmackDown. We start out with that Becky Lynch promo. And of course, she comes out and she straight up is just like, all right, let's get out of the way. Charlotte Flair, get out here right now. Of course, Charlotte comes down and the two kind of get in each other's face are like, "You're copying me." And it's like, well, no, you're copying me. It's like you're copying your dad, and then it got into a weird argument.
Yeah.
But I really like this because then the women's division comes out.
Like the entire women's division.
First it's the heels, and then in the faces. But yeah.
And they're basically like, what the fuck, Paige?
Yeah. Like, Paige, I know you like your buddies up there, but all the women in this division have been whooping butt. And I think somebody else deserves a title shot at TLC.
And then Paige is like, you know what? You're right. So she set up for later in the show, which I think ends up becoming the main event, right?
Yeah, it's the main event. Yeah.
It's the entire women's division in a battle royale.
Yep.
And the winner gets added to the tables, ladders, and chairs title match, making it a triple threat at TLC.
So excited.
Which, if that isn't the main event of TLC, I might be a little upset.
Same.
Because unless they announce something before then that is even more hype,
yeah,
I feel like this is the most over match.
I'm so excited for this. I mean,
also it's a women's tables, ladders, and chairs match.
I think it's the first one.
Beat the hell out of each other.
It's going to be so freaking good, especially considering who ends up getting added. But we will talk about that when it happens. One thing I did like about this, at the beginning, the women faces come out. And the crowd goes nuts. Naomi has the mic, but it turns out the whole crowd is just screaming, "Oh, it's good! Oh, it's good!"
Yeah.
Well,
she's
nuts.
One of those people who's everlasting.
Oh yeah.
I don't think let's talk about Asuka for a minute.
Okay.
She has been not necessarily buried, but she's been shelved for a lot of this year.
Unfortunately,
she got the Battle Royale. Or the Royal Rumble. She won the Royal Rumble.
Which was awesome.
Didn't really do a whole lot with it. Then this Becky Charlotte thing started, and she basically got kicked to the curb and has been in basically mediocre matches ever since.
Yeah, and she was stuck in that... don't get me wrong, I've turned around on the Carmella title reign. I actually, looking back on it, I'm like, it was enjoyable. But Asuka got buried in that feud with the James Ellsworth crap.
And so despite being essentially buried, whenever she comes out, the crowd goes nuts.
Yeah. Oh, it's so good.
Which is just another reason they should start putting her over again. Because
really
I
should.
feel like that they could have something really cool with her.
Exactly. She should be dominant again.
Exactly. So anyways, then, do you have anything else with that?
I don't really, no.
So then after that, we got a tag team match.
The Bar versus the Usos.
Oos!
And it was weird because right at the beginning they're like, "Hey, the Big Show's not with the Bar anymore."
Yeah, they were just like, literally, I thought he was gonna come out, and then he didn't. And then Corey Graves was like, "I wonder how the Bar will fare without the Big Show." And I was like, "Did he just peace out?"
Yeah, and then they show a video of them getting in the Big Show's face.
Yeah,
he punches Cesaro. Yeah.
They cut to a clip. They're just like, we don't have time to actually show you this, so we're just going to cut to a clip. And they just start talking smack to each other, and then, the Big Show decks one of them, and it's like, I'm out, and just walks away.
Yeah, exactly. And thank God, though, that this wasn't another New Day bar.
Well, I feel like that might be why they did that. They were like, well, we're done with doing the Bar in the New Day, so we're just going to get rid of Big Show, so now that we can have 2v2s, we don't need him anymore. And so they fought the Usos, and, this was awesome. Big Show showed up to make Drake Maverick pee himself. Now he can go home. But yeah, this match was really good. I really enjoyed this. I am so excited to put the Usos over again. Same, because the Usos are probably one of the best tag teams in the division. They're so good. I mean, they're so good. And they end up getting the win. So, I mean, there's not really a whole lot to say about it, but, you figure, they pinned the champion. They should be in line for the championship title match next. Yeah, definitely. So, yeah. So then we get a couple promos. Mm-hmm. First one, we get an AJ Styles promo. Yeah, and it was okay. I enjoyed it. I haven't disliked any of AJ Styles' promos. We've talked before about how I don't necessarily think that his voice fits his body. But yeah, it was good. And of course, he rips on Daniel Bryan for not showing up to work, basically. Yeah. He's like, hey, I've held that title for a long time, and I came to work every single day to hold it and fight and do all this. And Daniel Bryan has it for 2 weeks,
and he doesn't show up.
Yeah.
So yeah.
After that, we got a really cool little dealie.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
This I don't know if it was exactly this Tuesday, but this year is Jeff Hardy's 20th year in the WWE, right?
Yes, it is. Yeah.
And so they had.
Well, before that, we had Shinsuke.
Oh, that's right. I forgot about that.
Yeah. So Shinsuke versus Rusev.
I'll be honest, I 100% forgot about that match.
Oh, did you really?
Yeah.
Oh, no. I really enjoyed it. It wasn't even really a match. Before the match even starts, Shinsuke starts beating on Rusev.
Maybe that's why.
And then I was just like, but I want to bring it up because it's like, please let this be a feud. Please let this be a feud for the U.S. title.
They've had bouts before, and they've always been good.
Yeah, exactly.
And how dope would it be to have Rusev as the title holder?
That would be cool.
For them to actually do something with the belt.
Exactly. But yeah, then we had the Jeff Hardy.
That was really neat. He came out and it wasn't really in kayfabe, but he was just he was just being real.
Yeah, and they had the roster out there.
And he was just like, thanks for supporting me, destroying myself every week, and for, letting me explore my art and be who I want to be and all this, that, and the other. Mm-hmm. And it was really cool, and everybody was chanting, thank you, Jeff.
Yeah, it was really nice.
And then Samoa Joe's theme comes in, and he comes out and cuts a brutal promo.
Ooh, it was nasty. It was
god-awful savage.
Ooh.
He's like, man, he starts it with, man, I was going to bring out some wine to celebrate, but... Ooh, I don't know if wine's safe around you, Jeff. I was like,
yeah, he goes in on Jeff's addiction
problems. Oh my god!
I was like, holy crap!
To the point where like Jeff's like, "You want to fight? Let's go!" And he like clears the ring out, and he's like, "We can do this." And then he's like, "Nah,
peace, bro."
And then walks backstage,
yeah,
and just gets mean mugged by the entire roster.
I loved it. It was so cool. This was great.
I hope they make a feud out of this
because they got it, right?
Because like. Samoa Joe flourishes in feuds because he's so freaking good on the mic.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like this would be a neat feud.
Yeah. I'm looking forward to them doing more with it. But yeah, then we had The Miz and Kofi Kingston, which was predicated by a backstage promo.
About the Becky Lynch film Marine 6.
He was like, he sees them watching something. He's like, "Oh, are you guys watching something funny or something?" Like, he's like, "No, we're watching your match from last week when you lost to this jobber." And so, he's like, "I can beat any one of you." And so, anyway, they bring out Kofi Kingston. That's all the background to this match. And this is weird. I thought this was weird.
It's just kind of weird
because don't get me wrong, Miz isn't the best wrestler in the world. He's not like he's not he's not Daniel Bryan. He's not anybody like that. He's not Roman Reigns or anybody. But recently, he's shed the comedy aspect of his character.
Yeah,
like he's been a more serious character recently
until this match.
Yeah, exactly, and it's all comedy now. And I'm like, remember like last month before Crown Jewel when Miz was like, "I got next"? Remember when that happened?
Yeah.
What happened to that?
A lot of bad things.
Oh my gosh. It's so weird. But yeah, it was fine.
It was an okay match, but
Kofi gets the win at the end, yeah. So but yeah, bad match. Not bad match, fine match. Anyway, then we had Randy Orton come out, and it was...
He came out with Rey Mysterio's mask.
That was cool.
I thought it was an interesting angle for the promo, too. He was like, "Listen, I'm not trying to disrespect Lucha. I just want to actually humiliate the shit out of Rey Mysterio."
Yeah.
Like,
I was like, "Oh,
he
okay."
basically was like, "No offense, Lucha, but I'm going to humiliate this guy real quick."
And, Mysterio comes out, and he's all bandaged up, but he's like,
"He got a neck brace on that like comes off in 5 seconds.
It comes off immediately. It was like, why'd you even wear that?"
Right.
But yeah, they have a pretty good little scrap. Rey Mysterio actually gets a decent amount of offense in. I thought he was going to come out and just get the crap beat out of him.
Yeah.
Especially considering he was wearing a neck brace. But
yeah, it comes off immediately, and then he's just like, gotcha, and then beats the crap out of him.
Ooh, yeah, it was good.
I hope they keep a feud going with this, because I like the both of them, and I feel like they could.
Too.
I feel like they could do an interesting angle with the whole him trying to disrespect, erase Ray, like he tried to do with Jeff Hardy. I think that's a neat idea for a heel.
Yeah, I like this. But I mean, it doesn't really propel this any further.
No, it doesn't really add any fire. But
it's just exactly where it was.
Yeah.
So yeah. But yeah, then we had the main event,
which was amazing.
It was so good. I was so happy that this happened. It was a little quick. I wish it had been a little longer, but
what we got of it was quality content.
Yes, indeed. The women's battle royale, and it was good. There was a lot of good spots in it. Of course, teasing the absolution thing again.
Which I hope they pull the trigger on soon, because if they don't, I feel like it's going to get stale.
Yeah, exactly. Then we had that spot with Carmella when Asuka's like, oh, don't worry, just calm down. And then, whack!
Yeah. Yeah.
I really enjoyed that. But yeah, it comes down to, at the end, Asuka versus Sonya Deville.
And I was like, they got to give it to Asuka, but what if they don't?
I was like... Honestly, so the last four were actually Asuka and Naomi and Mandy Rose and Sonya Deville. And I was like, I don't mind anybody winning this. Like,
I was sitting there watching it, and I was just thinking, especially when I got down to those four, I was like, I swear to God, Vince McMahon, if you give Mandy Rose a title shot.
Oh man, yeah.
It's no secret that Vince McMahon
likes the blondes.
Is very infatuated with Mandy Rose.
Yeah, seriously. But yeah,
I got down to Asuka and Sonya, and I was like, I don't mind if it's either of these two.
Yeah, but of course I wanted Asuka.
And so yeah, Asuka ends up getting it. They both end up out on the apron, and then Asuka delivers a hellacious strike.
Oh, so good.
And Sonya Deville falls off the apron.
Asuka is in the triple threat.
And we get the three people who were essentially the Avengers pre-WrestleMania.
That's right.
Now they're all fighting it out for the title.
Yeah, exactly. It was actually right after
WrestleMania.
Yeah.
But yeah, they had that whole deal where like Asuka was like, "We're the Avengers," and like,
yeah, and we're teaming up with Becky Lynch and Charlotte, and now all three of those women are fighting against each other.
And like, Asuka's the only face in this fight.
I know. I was like, whoa, okay. Although,
like, if you would have told me,
Becky, I don't know. I feel like Becky's
kind of hovering the line, yeah. But I feel like if after WrestleMania you would have been like a month after WrestleMania, if you think, by the way, in December there's going to be a TLC title match where it's a triple threat between these three, and two of them are heels.
Yeah, exactly.
It's been like, which two?
Yeah, exactly. I'm so excited for this. Again, if it's not the main event, I'm going to be salty.
And then they all have this, like, smack talk. Becky Lynch and Asuka are talking smack back and forth, and Charlotte's just standing there all regal looking.
Yeah.
And then that brings the end of SmackDown.
Oh, it was great. It was a good SmackDown. Thank God after that terrible Raw.
Here's the thing. I didn't think it was a bad SmackDown, but was it better than... I mean... I know it was a good SmackDown, because SmackDown is hardly ever bad. Yeah. But I feel like it seemed even better than it actually was.
That's a fair point.
Because it followed the worst Raw in history.
That's actually a really good point, yeah.
Like, I didn't think it was bad at all. Like, I'm not trashing SmackDown this week.
Yeah, exactly.
But it felt like such a breath of fresh air after...
That maybe we enjoyed it more because we got so much shit.
After the shit show.
All right.
So then we get the short shows.
Yep, the short shows. So just run down these two really quick. Started with Mixed Match Challenge and Mahalisha. Now we're officially in the playoffs.
Yeah. So this is the point where people can get eliminated.
If you lose, you're out. So first off, Mahalisha took on Ember Moon and Kurt Hawkins, and guess what?
They won.
Yeah, Mahalisha ends up winning. Actually, this was actually a pretty good match. They tell a pretty good story in it. There's a botched kick out by Alicia, but it was like, oh, okay. But then it was going so well. And then they lose because Kurt Hawkins doesn't understand the rules. So Ember Moon hits the Eclipse on Alicia Fox. You know, so it's like, she's down. That's her finisher. She's got to do the pin. Before she hits it, though, Kurt Hawkins tags himself in, and then after she hits it, he tries to pin Alicia Fox. And he's just like,
"Are you kidding me?"
That's literally what happened. I was like, seriously? And then Mahal just hits the Colossus and they win. I was like, I was enjoying this, and now it's this. But yeah, so Mahal Alicia continues on, and then it was Country Dominance versus B&B. It was fine. It was decent. Nothing special. Bailey ends up getting the pin. So on Mickey James. So in the finals, not the finals, in the semifinals on the Raw side, it'll be Bailey and Finn Balor versus Jinder Mahal and Alicia Fox. So yeah, then we had NXT UK, which
was it 2 episodes again?
Yes, it was. But here's the thing. So I was down on this show. Something happened this week. And I don't know what it was, but they were like, what if we started making a good wrestling show? And they did. So first off, it starts out slow. So there was a Zaya Brookside and Millie McKenzie versus Charlie Morgan and Killer Kelly. Women's division fight. It was fine. Brookside and McKenzie ended up getting the win. Then we had Ashton Smith versus Eddie Dennis. Short, enjoyable match. Dennis gets the win. Then we had Saxon Huxley versus Joseph Connors, and that it's continuing on from the previous episode where Connors turned on Huxley, and it having a match with finally some history behind it, even something so small, really makes this immediately better. Like, I really enjoyed it. Then we had UK Championship match between Jordan Devlin, who was trained by Finn Balor, versus Pete Dunne. And holy shit, this was good.
I remember you telling me that you were hyped up for this match.
I was like, holy crap, this is fun.
I was meaning to go back and watch it, but I couldn't remember which episode you said it was going to be in.
Yeah. I'll send it to you because it's primo. It's so good.
I really like Pete Dunne.
I do too, and
he has got to be one of my favorites from NXT.
I think so too.
Not even UK, just in general NXT.
And I hope he keeps the title for very long. He does end up winning, and the crowd is going absolutely ballistic. At one time, half the crowd is like standing with their hands on the dividers, just pounding away, and it was so good. But then next episode, that was the end of the first episode. Next episode started with Joe Coffey versus Tyler Bate. Joe Coffey was supposed to fight Sid Scala, but he wasn't medically cleared. And at first I was like, oh man, I don't want to see this again. And then out of nowhere, they were like, what if we made a good match? And it was. So unfortunately, though, ends in a DQ when Mark Coffey and Wolfgang come out and they stop it. Then Trent Seven comes out and he tries to help because Mustache Mountain. He ends up getting beat down. But then hits the music. Pete Dunne comes walking out. British Strong Style is back together. I'm like, holy crap, Mustache Mountain. Pete Dunne is back together. It was a really special moment. And I really, really enjoyed it.
That's awesome.
It was so cool. Then we had Ligero versus Dan Mulaney, and literally this is the point where I realized how much I was enjoying both of these shows, because I literally wrote in my notes, has the curse been broken? Because this was a really good match, and Ligero ends up getting the win. And then last 2 matches were Amir Jordan and Kenny Williams versus Zach Gibson and James Drake. Good match, Gibson and Drake getting the win. And then another absolutely fantastic barn burner, which we all knew the result of, but it was still good. Rhea Ripley versus Toni Storm for the NXT UK Women's Championship.
Oh, so we now actually have in kayfabe.
Yeah, in kayfabe, we now know that Rhea Ripley is the champion, but gee, this match was good.
Out of kayfabe, we knew like 3 weeks ago.
3 weeks ago. I'm trying 3 months ago. But yeah, so good. And yeah, so I'm pleased. I'm pleased with NXT UK finally. So yep, then we move on to our other Wednesday shows, starting with 205 Live.
All right, so 205 Live. opened with Noam Dar versus Mike Kanellis.
Which I was down for.
And this is the first time, I think, first time I can recall seeing Noam Dar wrestle.
Oh, really?
I knew he existed, and he had been out for a while for injury. But yeah, I really like him.
Oh, yeah.
I really like his character. He's very wholesome. He seems like a very wholesome character.
I actually, he's he's a babyface through and through.
Like when, like at one point in the match, Marie Kanellis is on commentary, and Mike Kanellis blows her a kiss, and Noam Dar just kind of looks over his shoulder, and goes "Hi" and waves at her. He's like "Hi," and it's just doing the most wholesome, innocent wave, and it's really so great.
He's really good.
So then this kind of goes along with what we were talking about on Raw about how the Lucha House Party is are cheats.
Acting like heels.
Yeah. So during this match, it starts to sway in the favor of Mike Kanellis.
Yeah.
And then we hear the Lucha House Party music cue up.
Yeah.
And
it distracts the ref.
It was Grant Metalik and
Lindsay Dorado
on the runway, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So they're on the runway with noisemakers just going nuts.
Yeah.
And then Mike Kanellis turns to tell Maria Kanellis that we gotta go.
Yeah.
And he gets a kick to the face from Callisto.
Yeah, exactly.
Who's army crawling on the ground. And it's just what is this?
They literally cheated again to give the
this is
it just doesn't really make sense.
I get why they're doing it, because they're in this feud with Mike Kanellis and TJP.
But are they? I understand that they've been fighting them. But it feels to me, I know they're pushing Mike Kanellis, but it feels like the actual feud is focused between Lucha House Party and TJP.
Yeah.
So, what? Why?
Well, regardless, he interferes with the match, which gives Noam Dar the win, because the ref didn't see the kick that Kalisto gave.
Mm-hmm.
Which then sparks this whole thing where Maria Kanellis and Mike Kanellis are backstage, and they're on a rampage. And,
and they're saying you have to... they go to Drake Maverick, who TJP is talking to.
And they're like, listen, you gotta fix this shit.
Yeah, we want a tornado tag match.
Which... tornado tags are so cool.
I'm so excited.
And he's like, we'll have to think about it. And she's like, no. And so he's like, okay, tornado tag.
All right, you know what? I thought about it. I was like, okay.
I love how easy that was. He's like, I'll have to think about it. And Maria Kanellis is like, how about you don't? And he's like, yeah, you know what? You're right. Yeah,
I thought about it. You're right.
So next week, the main event of 205 Live is a tornado tag team match against is Mike Kanellis and TJP versus the Lucha House Party. Which, question mark, if it's going to be all three of them or just two?
Yeah, I don't know. But yeah. It could be anything, but yeah. I'm excited.
Next.
Hideo Itami comes back.
I know it was a jobber, but I don't care. I was so excited for this match.
Because Hideo Itami has been horribly underutilized in the main roster, and he is so good.
And he came out, and of course he tore it up because the other guy didn't even get an intro. I didn't know his name until after the match when they were talking about it. It was like Cruz, or that was his last name.
Yeah, I didn't even write it down.
And so then someone else's intro comes in, who I have never heard of this guy.
Yeah. So it's Aria. I
think it was Aria
Davari. You say it Davari, I think is how you say it, but it's like Daivari.
Yeah, it's like Ari Darvai.
Yeah, and I was like, oh damn, he's back. It's been a while because he's been out with injury.
Yeah, they said he was out for 7 months on an injury.
Yeah, he's been gone for a long time.
Spoiler alert, if you're keeping track of the episode numbers, is longer than this show. So
wait, what?
7 months is longer than this show.
Oh, then our show, yeah, for sure, yeah.
So I had no clue who he was because I started watching 205 and NXT for this.
Exactly.
But he seems cool.
Yeah.
And he came out and I was like, oh, are they going to fight?
Yeah,
this could be cool. They're going to fight. And then he just continues beating up the jobber.
I was like, whoa,
picks the jobber up and looks at Hideo Itami and he's like, punch him in the face.
Yeah, and
then he does, and he's like, I respect you, and shakes hands, and he just leaves.
I was like, That's weird, but I'm down for this tag team. Like,
yeah,
I'm down
sure.
for that. Whatever.
But it was just so out of place. It was so strange.
It was weird.
It was the good kind of strange, but it was very strong.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, then we get to the main event.
Oh my god, this match was so good.
Yeah, so Cedric Alexander and Mustafa Ali versus Buddy Murphy and Tony Nese.
Oh,
I was already hyped for this. I wasn't prepared.
I was not prepared.
It was so good.
Oh my lord,
man.
this match was insane.
Absolutely incredible.
Cedric Alexander put his Spider-Man costume back on. And they tore down the house.
Like, seriously, I can't believe.
The only problem I have with the match is a botch at one point. It's kind of an obvious botch, and I hope that Buddy Murphy is okay, because it looks like he clunked himself pretty hard.
He finished the rest of the match, so he should be fine.
But there's a moment where Cedric Alexander jukes a attack and ends up throwing Tony Nese into the corner and tags Mustafa Ali. And the two of them use Tony Nese as like a stepping stool. And it looks like they're going to do like a superplex or some kind of tag team move off the top. And so they're pulling up Buddy Murphy. Oops. He goes to put his foot on the top rope, and you can tell his foot obviously slips off. And he bounces his head off the top turnbuckle, and him and Mustafa Ali fall from there to the outside of the ring.
Yeah.
It was pretty obvious.
Yeah, I was like, ooh, that looked rough.
At first, I was like, wait, hold on. I don't think that's supposed to. And I rolled it back and watched it again, and I was like, no, his foot definitely slipped there.
Yeah. But yeah.
But they were both okay enough to finish the match.
And it was amazing.
Oh, it was so good.
Of course, ends with Cedric Alexander tags Mustafa Ali after he does a move and then hits that lumbar check.
Oh, not just a move. That DDT that Mustafa Ali did.
Oh, his tornado DDT. It's
good.
So good. It's really fantastic.
And then he did get hit with the lumbar check and got rolled up.
1, 2, 3. Cedric Alexander has just pinned the Cruiserweight champion. Is it time for his rematch now?
Please?
Yes,
please. I feel like that's going to be a big point next week. I wouldn't be surprised if there's a promo where Cedric is like, so Drake, remember how you said I wasn't ready? Well, I pinned him last week. Give me my shot.
Exactly, and he should, so. Yeah.
At TLC, perhaps?
That would be cool if they actually start. Well, they should be putting the Cruiserweight Championship on the pay-per-views more often.
Agreed.
They destroy it every time, so. But yeah. This was really good. Moving on to NXT then.
Which, for some reason, my notes didn't save, so I don't have, so I'm going to look at your notes.
All right, well.
I remember a lot of them.
It started with, so first off, it was in San Diego State University's auditorium or whatever.
It started with Lorcan and Birch, right?
Yep, Oney Lorcan and Danny Burch versus The Mighty.
Which, that was a dope match.
It really was. So, at first, the beginning of the match, I was like...
It kind of went a little slow.
It was slow. It felt like any other tag team match because, Danny Burch started off a little... was it Oney Lorcan in first? I think it was Oney Lorcan.
I think Lorcan was in first, yeah.
So, Lorcan's in first, and he gets a couple good hits in, but then... tag to the other not Miller, Thorne.
Yeah.
Thorne of the Mighty gets tagged in, and then it's your classic keep the baby face away from his corner, and so then he gets the hot tag on Danny Burch. Danny Burch hits a big move, and I was like, okay, that's it. But it wasn't.
It was not, in fact.
Actually turned out to be something pretty cool. It was a really good match. It turned out to be very enjoyable. Lots of great back and forth, and honestly, it legitimately surprised me how good it was. So kudos for that.
I would honestly be okay if I know this match was kind of like not necessarily a tournament, but it was kind of like a who's getting put over to head towards the title.
Okay, I can see that.
Because they mentioned that, commentary mentioned that, they're like, this match is not necessarily a decider, but this match might be a factor when it comes to deciding who gets to...
Yeah, certainly a factor.
Fight the Undisputed Era for the title.
Yeah, exactly. Although they probably would finish their feud with War Raiders first.
But I honestly would like a feud here. Like, these two going at it, I think could be really neat.
Yeah, I'd love to see this again. Especially what happens at the end of the match. So Lorcan and Birch end up getting the win, but then the Mighty jump them afterwards.
Yeah.
Just start beating down on these guys.
They do the heel thing and went, you may have won the match, but we're going to win the encounter, rather.
And then we had EC3 versus Marcel Barthel. And at first...
I will not lie to you, I have no clue who that guy is.
Exactly. So, same. That's the whole, like, maybe I'm forgetting something.
I feel like he's like Jack Gallagher, but German.
Yeah. I mean, you're not
he kind of
wrong.
carried himself the same way. He's very aristocratic type.
Yeah.
Which, to me, I thought was kind of funny because you've got, like, EC3, so you've got, like, the American version of, like, the aristocrat, like, top 1%.
Yeah.
And then you have the German version.
Basically
of
the Europe version.
Yeah. And so I thought it was an interesting, like, kayfabe, like, story match.
And it was a fine match.
Yeah, it was alright.
Something I will say, so basically, when I first wrote this match down, I was like, oh, it's a squash match. Because I didn't recognize the name. But then his Twitter handle is a WWE Twitter handle, so I was like, oh, he's signed to the WWE.
Yeah,
so.
Apparently he hasn't been around lately.
Yep.
I don't know if he was injured or what, I'll be honest. But I did hear them on commentary mention that it's been a while since he's been around.
All right. But so EC3 wins.
For sure.
Yeah. So then we had Mia Yim versus Vanessa Bourne.
That match was awesome.
I really enjoyed it.
I am loving Mia Yim.
She's
I've
great.
been seeing more of her lately. I had heard of her.
Of course, she killed it in the Mae Young Classic.
Yeah.
So.
And seeing her strut her stuff in NXT is just...
It's been great.
Been so good.
Yeah, of course, she ends up getting the win. And, she's getting a pretty decent push.
Yeah, she is, for sure.
Yeah.
Was the promo with Kairi Sane, was that before or after this match?
I think it was before.
But that promo was kind of funny to me. It had Io Shirai, Kairi Sane, and Dakota Kai, and they were basically just like, we want all three of them. We want a match.
We want Shayna and her friends. And I'm looking
Io
forward to that.
Shirai is so adorable. She's just like, Kairi is my friend. I protect my friend. And gave her a hug. It was just like, oh, you're precious.
Oh man, I'm excited. I'm excited to see that match.
Oh yeah. Them. I don't know when they're gonna do it, but whenever they do it, I'll be excited.
Exactly. But then our final match of NXT was Lars Sullivan versus Keith Lee.
Oh man, that match was whoo!
Holy crap, this was good.
Oh man, I love both of those guys, and I loved the beginning where Lars Sullivan tries to do the Lars Sullivan thing and just steamroll people, and he slams into Keith Lee and he doesn't move, and he's just like, he just gives him the nod. He's like, yeah. You want to try that again, bud?
Yeah. The battle of strength was really. I really liked it. This match is great. Of course, Keith Lee and Lars Sullivan are absolutely amazing. Although I will say I expected Lars Sullivan to win this.
I mean, yeah, especially because they've been pushing him. They're going to bring him up to the roster.
Yeah, he's being brought up to the main roster. He's going to get that push.
Definitely. They're not going to have him lose right before he gets brought up.
Yeah, exactly. They're going to protect their investment. So.
Exactly.
So
that's it for the shows this week.
Yeah.
We got
our last stuff. Give me your match of the week.
This one is tough,
isn't it? I'll give you mine first. So I'll give you a second to think about it. Mine is from NXT UK.
Oh yeah.
Finally, this show is really putting out something really amazing, and it's got to be that Jordan Devlin versus Pete Dunne match. It really is something special, and it just proves how good the talent in the UK is, and just continues to solidify how good Pete Dunne is.
I think mine is going to be the tag team main event of 205. The Mustafa Ali, Cedric Alexander versus Tony Nese.
It's a good one.
Murphy.
It's a really good one.
That match was so good.
Yeah. Honestly, there's a lot of people that I think there's a lot of people that watch NXT and the main roster, but that's it. I highly recommend going to 205 Live.
100%.
Because if you like NXT, you're probably gonna like 205.
I'll be honest, that's kind of why I'm scared to start watching NXT UK, especially after what you told me this week.
Yeah.
Is I already am packed full schedule with the shows I watch now.
Yeah.
And I don't want to get stuck on another one.
Oh man,
because
you might have to though.
We started watching these for the podcast.
Yeah,
and I was like, I mean, it'll be entertaining, but like the main shows are the main shows for a reason, right?
Yeah, exactly.
And then like I started watching 205 and NXT, and I was like, oh my god, these are so good.
Is it? Yeah.
And there's been a lot of weeks, this week included, that the best match of the week isn't from one of the main shows.
It happens a lot that we really like the NXT and the 205 live shows. But yeah, so then we move to our best and worst superstars of the week. Give me your best. Who had the best week?
Who had the best week?
Yes.
Let's go with. Let's go with Asuka.
Oh, good. That's actually my pick as well.
I feel like that it wasn't a huge push, but it was
it's enough.
It was the push over the top of the hill.
Exactly.
And so hopefully she can now start rolling and picking up steam.
Because, yeah, so let's be honest. Asuka has been kind of stuck at the bottom of the women's division for a little while.
Exactly.
Now. And now she has been immediately put into the title picture.
Yeah, she basically went from 0 to 100
real quick.
Overnight.
Real quick.
So I hope because she's getting put in this title match, she'll start letting her cut promos.
Yeah, exactly.
She'll start having more matches.
And think about it this way. As far as I'm concerned, there's only one outcome of the TLC match that puts Asuka back down. And that's Charlotte winning. Because if Charlotte wins, she gets the title. And so obviously Becky and Charlotte are going to fight again. But if Becky wins, then Asuka can be like, well, you beat Charlotte plenty of times. Now, I was in that match too, and now I should get a single match. Or Asuka wins, and then we have Becky Asuka for the fight.
Yeah, they could easily just slot out Charlotte with Asuka.
Yeah, they probably won't do that because WWE hates us, but...
yeah, that's fair. So yeah, I think Asuka had the best week.
Right. Who had the worst week?
All of Raw.
You know what? I'm going to go in with you on that one.
If I had to pick anyone specifically... I don't know. There's a lot of bad ones.
Yeah, don't even worry about it. Let's just say the Raw roster because, frankly, it was a bad week. It was a real bad week.
Yeah.
But yeah. So then I actually came up with a question of the day.
Hey, what do we got?
So I wanted to ask: is there an issue with Ronda Rousey? So let me get started on this because obviously Ronda's new and she's a big draw and all that stuff, and she's great for a newbie. But one of the things I keep hearing everybody keeps saying, oh, she's so good in the ring right now that imagine where she'll be in the future. And I'm like, maybe it's the cynic in me, but frankly, do you think Ronda's going to be with the company 3 WrestleManias from now?
Here's the thing. Okay, listen.
Okay, listen.
They kind of shot themselves in the foot with Ronda Rousey here because if you look at Ronda Rousey and pretty much any superstar in the first year of NXT,
yeah,
they're basically the same.
I'd actually argue that most of NXT is probably better than Ronda.
Well, because if you join NXT, you've been wrestling long enough on the independent circuit that you've piqued the interest of the WWE.
Yeah, I'd say Ronda's on the level of maybe a newbie on Ring of Honor.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's not shooting on Ring of Honor. Ring of Honor is really good now, but
the thing is, they decided to just go, oh, Ronda, you'll bring in money. Well, we're gonna put you on the main roster instead of sending you through the starter programs.
Yeah, look at where Shayna Baszler is now.
Exactly. They could bring Shayna Baszler up next week, and it would be insane.
And we actually talked about this. I think we mentioned it for a second. Ronda Rousey feels like Ronda Rousey playing a wrestler, Ronda Rousey playing Ronda Rousey, whereas Shayna Baszler feels like Shayna Baszler, the wrestler.
Yeah, whereas Ronda Rousey is, I'm Ronda Rousey trying to wrestle. Shayna Baszler is, I'm Shayna Baszler, the wrestler.
Exactly.
Which is a perfect comparison. If you would have started Ronda in training, whenever you brought her up or whenever you started training her, if you would have just trained her, and then whenever you put her on the main roster, put her into Ring of Honor or NXT.
Well, yeah. Obviously,
then,
Ring of Honor is a different promotion.
Yeah. Put her in like NXT.
Yeah, put her in NXT. Yeah, give her extra time in the performance.
And then maybe this time next year, pull her up to the main roster.
Yeah,
I feel like you have a more fleshed out character.
Mm-hmm.
She's better in the ring.
Yeah.
She's definitely going to be better on the mic and writing her
which
own promos.
Which is really important.
Which is, I feel like, one of the biggest downfalls with her right now.
Yeah.
And you just have a more complete character. Instead of someone trying to wrestle, you have a wrestler.
Yeah. And
that's her biggest problem, is every time I watch her cut a promo, or every time she's in a ring, I'm like, oh, it's Ronda Rousey, the MMA fighter, wrestling.
Mm-hmm.
It's not Ronda Rousey, the wrestler.
Exactly. And frankly, there's a lot of stuff. One thing I want to talk about is her push. So she comes onto the roster. It's a big deal. They say your first match is going to be at WrestleMania. We were all hyped for that. That match was amazing. I don't think anybody had an issue with that. But afterwards, they start talking about Ronda, saying, Ronda is going to earn her way up. She's going to fight her way through the ranks.
And then she did not do that at all.
They immediately gave her a title shot, and she got stopped by Alexa Bliss, and then immediately won it off of Alexa Bliss.
Well, here's the thing. I feel like they could have done this story arc better.
They really
could have, like, when she won the title, they should have had her come out and be like, oh yeah, I'm gonna take your title, and then lose.
Mm-hmm.
And then we get the build-up where basically Alexa Bliss is still the champion.
Yeah.
And Alexa Bliss essentially throws cannon fodder at Ronda Rousey to try to keep her away from the title.
Yeah.
And that gives Ronda time to train.
Yeah.
That gives her more experience. It lets you build heat towards the inevitable match.
With Alexa
Bliss. And it just gives you a chance to have her kind of, ease into the water instead of getting hucked off the bridge.
Yeah, exactly. And it blows my mind. Also, I think the WWE expects us to always cheer for Ronda. And
I think they told Ronda that too. They were like, people are going to love you.
Because who doesn't like Ronda Rousey? But here's the thing. She's been fighting with Alexa Bliss, and we like Alexa Bliss, but she's the heel, so we cheer for Ronda Rousey. She's been fighting Nia Jax. Not a lot of people like Nia Jax, so we cheer for Ronda Rousey. Her future feuds, though, are looking like Charlotte or Becky. And guess what?
She loses both of those to a crowd.
Yeah, the crowd prefers those two.
Which we saw at Survivor Series, and that's why I feel like that's why she got upset the way she did. Because I feel like when they brought her in, they were like, don't worry, you're going to be a face, everybody's going to love you.
Yeah.
And this was the first time she got booed super hard, and so she got real pissed about it.
Yeah, and that's another thing that's like, you have to have experience to understand that the crowd is fickle and they will turn on you at any point.
Oh, look at Roman Reigns.
Yeah.
They tried putting him on a pedestal for years.
Yeah.
And he still got the shit booed out of him.
Yeah.
He could come back next week and there'd still be like half the crowd that's like, boo, Roman. Like, what's the, like...
Yeah. And that's another thing is that...
Literally, he was leaving after he was like, guys, I got leukemia, I gotta give him the title and leave. He was walking out and you could hear someone audibly yell, you still suck.
Ugh.
Like...
It's like, dude, yeah.
That guy was a dick, by the way. But, like, even in the worst of times, or the highest pedestals, the crowd can still turn on a dime.
Yeah, immediately. And... it's wild. You mentioned Roman Reigns. That's another thing I want to mention. The crowd. Don't get me wrong. We like a new face, somebody new that's exciting, that like Ronda. But the crowd doesn't really get behind WWE pushing somebody. The crowd tends to like people that start slower, and then we're like, come on, when are they going to get pushed? When are they going to get pushed? And then they finally get pushed, and we're, like, super excited about it. Honestly, if this continues, does Ronda... I could see Ronda becoming like a Roman Reigns.
I mean, I definitely see that
already
heading that direction.
Yeah, because it's like...
Yeah, you are right. They like to... The best writing is when they basically write... They don't have anything set in stone, and they're like, we're just going to have an Elias Rusev match. And then everybody's like, Elias, fuck yeah! And they're like, well, the crowd likes this guy.
Yeah,
And then they write the storyline.
And so there was just no real build-up for this Ronda push. And I see it going down in flames, frankly.
Yeah, that's fair.
But,
I feel like the only reason she hasn't crashed and burned yet is she still has the belt.
Yeah.
I feel like if she loses that belt, she's going to disappear for a while.
I think her losing the belt is going to prove how good she is. Because we're either going to see her lose the belt and that feud with whoever... When she loses the belt, we're going to get a storyline about that. And if that's good, then it's like, okay, Ronda's fine. Like, but if not, like, you know, we might see the crowd just boo her every single time.
Which, if that's the case, they might flip a heel turn on her. And that's another chance where we're going to see how well she fares. Mm-hmm. Because, I mean, that takes work.
Yeah. And so, basically, like, the only thing I like is just, like... Don't get me wrong, I do like Ronda Rousey. I think she is very far along as a wrestler.
Oh yeah, given the time she had, she's doing real well.
Yeah, but I think it also says something about how fast she's being pushed. So WrestleMania 35 is coming up. Do you honestly think Ronda's going to be on the roster at WrestleMania 38?
I don't think so.
I don't think so either. Heck, I don't think she might not even make it to WrestleMania 37. So
it's just one of those things where you can tell that Ronda is a WWE wrestler now because they knew it would make money.
Exactly.
They could have done it in a way where they wouldn't have made as much money right off the bat, but they would have made a better wrestler. Mm-hmm. But instead, they were like, nah, if we just boot her into the main roster, we're going to get so much money.
Yeah. Also, them hyping Ronda as the champion of the Women's Revolution is making a lot of people mad.
Oh yeah, I've seen on Twitter where a lot of the like hardcore fans of the women's division and even some of the actual female wrestlers are like, guys,
seriously,
I've been doing this for X amount of years. She's been wrestling less than a year.
Yeah.
And you're telling us she is the face of the women's revolution?
Yeah, exactly. There was a special after SmackDown or Raw 1 week before Evolution that they were like, hey, watch this Road to Evolution thing.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I did watch it, and it was appalling how much they're like, this is because of Ronda.
Bullshit.
It's like, no, this is because of Paige, because of Sasha Banks, because of Bayley, because of Charlotte Flair, because of Becky Lynch.
We can even go back further, and as much as I hate to say this, Mickie James,
Trish Stratus, Lita, these are all, like, don't get me wrong,
I dislike Mickie James's character right now, but I can't not say she's done work. She's done a lot for the women's division in wrestling, and
the Bella Twins even. Lots of people hate the Bella Twins, but guess what? They did a lot for women's wrestling, like a real lot.
Yeah,
but whatever.
All right, guys.
It's just a discussion I wanted to have.
It was a good question.
It was a good question,
and I really liked the discussion based off of it. Let us know what you guys think.
Get some good content for you.
But
that's all we got.
There was one of the shows this week was an absolute train wreck, but
which we had fun ripping on.
Which we did. I will admit, I did have fun ripping on a little bit.
It's fun to destroy it.
But hopefully, we can start the upward climb towards better content on the quote unquote better brand.
Indeed. But yeah, so I'm Danny Marvelous.
I'm Nick the Iceman,
and this has been the weekly wrestling chat.
Thanks, guys.